celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
We have a fat show today. If you're fat, probably means your pet's fat. That's because you're sitting on the couch all day long and they're not getting the exercise they need. Today we're going to talk about a fat cat, a fat dog who weighed way too much. It's 77 pounds for a dachshund. They're supposed to weigh, 20, 30 pounds at the most.
Yeah, not 15, 20 pounds.
Had emergency surgery to remove the skin after he lost, 50 pounds? We'll find out all on the show today, as well as a guy who started a Kickstarter project for a treadmill for cats. Wow, pretty incredible show. I like the theme. And, of course, we have Joey Villani, who's going to tell us about skeeters. We're going to talk about skeeters today and getting rid of skeeters on your pets.
I'm talking about skeeters. But if you would have told me this was going to be a fat show, I could have talked about, how to make a fat dog look slim, too,
You can do that just cosmetically?
You could do that a little bit with haircuts and how to do it. It's called camouflage grooming.
Maybe next week.
That's right.
Okay.
There you go.
Stacy.
Well, we all know the dolphins are pretty smart. In fact, the Navy has their own team of dolphins, bottlenose dolphins, that actually work for the Navy. Well, they found something underwater off the California coast, a very rare antique. I'll tell you all the details coming up on Animal Radio News.
Well, let's hit the phones. Hey, Kim, I understand you have dog problems.
I do. We adopted a Siberian Husky from a rescue about 3 months ago. And shortly after we adopted him, he kind of had issues. So we put him into boarding and training, and we got him back probably, I want to say, about a week ago. And he was there for 3 weeks. Before that, the separation anxiety was pretty strong, and it's still really strong. And, I want him to be a happy dog. So I just want to better understand, what's causing this and how to address it.
Hey, Kim, who did you adopt him from? You said, and I didn't hear.
We adopted him from the Southern California Siberian Rescue Husky.
And how old is he?
He's about 18 months old.
Okay. And so what does he do when you come home?
Well, when we leave, it's like he's just so upset, and it sounds like he's literally being tortured.
And so then when you leave and he's so upset and it sounds like he's being tortured, what do you do at that point in time? What do you do exactly?
Ignore him.
Okay. Do you just walk out the door?
Yeah.
And then what happens when you leave? Does he destroy anything? What does he do?
If it's outside, if I go to the car that's outside, he starts thrashing at the gate, howling.
Well, let's say you leave, right? You come back home. What has he done to your house? Anything?
Not anything now. We also learn to put things away.
So he doesn't destroy anything. He just sort of probably mellows out and lays there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's my guess.
So right before you leave the house, what do you do?
I will probably do my routine where I'll grab my purse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the dogs have triggers. Think about what you're doing right before you leave the house. You grab your purse. Dogs go from hot to cold really quick, from cold to hot really quick. But there's certain triggers. There's certain things that they've learned through your behavior and watching you that you do right before you leave the house, which gets him excited, doesn't it?
Okay.
So picking up your purse would be one of them.
Yeah. Understandably.
Okay. So you want to give your dog confidence. He's a very insecure dog, and there's a lot of things you can do to do that. And one of them, of course, is a daily walk. Daily walks are so important for dogs. People just don't realize how important it is to walk with your dog 30 minutes a day on a leash, meeting people, going past other dogs, doing things that make your dog feel confidence. And a walk is a great way to build confidence and trust between you and your dog. So that's an important thing to do. The other thing is to slow down from hyperspeed, because when you leave the house, you're subconsciously just doing what you do. So what you have to do is slow down the process and analyze your behavior, what you're doing before you leave the house. And you have to recognize the triggers that are getting your dog excited. So picking your purse up is one of them. So here's an exercise. Let's say you pick up your purse, you grab your coat. Those are the two things you do before you leave the house. Your dog starts to get wound up and kooky before you leave. Well, what you want to do is start picking your purse up and carrying it around the house, but not going anywhere. Okay. So your dog loses the ability to recognize that as a trigger. And then as you pick your purse up, okay, and you start walking around the house, you don't talk to your dog, but you carry treats in your pocket. And every time you put the purse on your shoulder, after a little while, you start giving your dog a treat. Just giving him a treat every time you put the purse on your shoulder. So he starts to associate your purse with not bad, not I'm leaving. He starts to associate your purse with, oh, every time she puts that purse on, I get a treat, okay?
Okay.
And then what you want to do, whatever other triggers there are, you want to do the same thing. Then what you want to do is you want to start going towards the door and just standing there. You just stand by the door, but you don't actually leave, okay? Your dog's going to start getting crazy when you go to the door. He thinks you're leaving, but you don't actually leave, and you just stand there. And after doing that a couple of days, when your dog stops reacting to you going to the door, you start telling him, good dog. You start rewarding him with a little bit of affection for being calm when you walk towards the door. And then you open the door. You know, you chain him up so he can't run out, obviously. And then you do the same thing. It's a step-by-step progression. And when you come home, how does the dog act?
Usually he's excited and he pees.
Okay. When he's excited and he's submissive pees when you come home, and it's interesting, I'll tell you a story if I have time about a guy, you know, there might be things you're doing you don't realize that are causing him to pee, but when you come home and he gets excited, what do? Do you give him affection?
You know, I don't. I walk through and it's usually a very calm hello, and he gets, you know, he starts to jump, and if I do pat him on the head or give him a nuzzle underneath, that's when he starts to pee. So there's some attention, but it's not over attention.
You're giving him attention without realizing it because you're feeling guilty. Okay? So when when you feel human emotions, they transcend right into your dog. So what you've got to do is you come home, it's a non-event. You open the door, you walk in, you pay no attention to him for like 15 minutes. 15 minutes. As soon as he starts to be calm, just goes and lays down, that's when you walk over and gently pet him and give him a treat, say good dog. And doing that consistently over and over and over again forever teaches him that he gets attention when he's calm, teaches him that he gets a treat when he's calm, teaches him you're not going to pay any attention to him when he's wound up and manic. The only way to teach dogs what you want is with action, because words mean nothing to them. As a matter of fact, they think you're joining in when you get excited and you start talking.
That makes sense.
Now, just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, and I hope I have time, Hal. I hope I'm not eating up too much time, but this is an interesting story. A guy I was working with, his dog would go nuts and chew up stuff, and you know, when he came home, the dog would pee. And I said, well, tell me about your week last week. And he said, well, last week was interesting. I got a raise last week, and I came home, and the dog had chewed up my favorite pair of Nikes, and I was so happy about my raise. I just pet him, and it was no big deal. Firstly, this is a guy who refused to crate his dog. You can't do that. You can't put him in a cage. It's cruel. It's mean. Okay, whatever. So then I go, tell me about the rest of your week. So 2 days later, he comes home. He's really mad because his dog gave him a reprimand. I'm sorry, his boss gave him a reprimand because he hadn't finished an assignment on time. He comes home. Of course, his dog had destroyed something else. I think it was a pair of drapes that he dragged off the window or something. And so now he's mad. And now he's reprimanding his dog. So I asked him, you know, he's a human, he's supposed to be smart. What do you think the dog thinks when you come home? What do you think's going on in the dog's mind?
Right.
And he goes, you know, I never thought about that. And I go, well, let me tell you what. The dog doesn't know that you got a raise. The dog doesn't know that you got reprimanded. The dog doesn't know that you're mad or happy because he chewed up your shoes. He associates you coming home with, I don't know what the heck is going to happen. Sometimes this guy walks through the door and gives me affection. Sometimes he walks through the door and he punishes me. So the dog gets really, really nervous and anxious and pees.
That makes sense. And I guess, you know, we dog owners just feel that sense of guilt when we don't give them attention, but it, you know, obviously it sounds like it's.
You know what? The kindest thing that you or any dog owner can do is teach your dog the rules that'll get him attention, and not giving him attention first but last. Because dogs crave consistency, they crave rules, they crave structure, they crave leadership. They need that to be happy and calm and well-adjusted. And a calm dog is a happy dog. And so you can do this because you're smart, Kim. I can tell by talking to you that you are very smart, and you can do this. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I want him, you know, I put him in to be boarded and trained because I needed that structure. but I want to continue it, and that's why I want to address these issues so that he is happy and secure and confident.
Well, before you go, remember this. There's a big difference between dog training and dog behavior. And changing dog training is like you train your dog to sit, you train your dog to heel, you train your dog to do a trick. Dog behavior is how your dog is actually responding and behaving. And changing dog behavior takes a lot of consistency, patience, calm behavior on your part, leadership, and time. It takes time. People in America, they want a pill to cure everything. Dog behavior takes time to change, and it takes consistency. You do the same things every single time and every single day so your dog knows what to expect, and you never deviate. And when you do that, your dog is going to learn to trust you and to be calm around you.
And if it makes you feel any better at all, every time I come into the studio, usually Alan will roll over and pee sometimes. So
that's right. That's right. All over myself. That's right.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
A Canadian man now has to pick up his mail at the post office. Canada's postal system has stopped delivering his mail after a carrier was scared away from his door by what she described as a very threatening cat. John Samborski says his 8-year-old declawed black cat named Shadow is gentle and calls the whole situation ridiculous. He told the local paper that Shadow likes to eat, sleep, and cuddle. You could drop a bomb on him and he'd just open one eye, take a look, then close them and go back to sleep. A Canada Post spokeswoman said she hoped for an amicable solution to its dispute with the cat owner, but also added that the carrier who delivered the mail to the house was brought up on a farm and very comfortable with all animals, just not this cat. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At US Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With US Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
US Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With US Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose US Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. US Med. Better service, better care. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
Hi, Kathy.
Yes, hello.
How are you? Where are you calling from today?
Alpena, Michigan. That's, maybe 200 miles from Detroit.
Is that on the top part of the glove?
Exactly.
What's going on with your animal? I have Dr. Debbie right here.
Yes, well, she's 13 years old, and ever since January, it's been an on and off situation. But in January, she was high blood count, fever, infection, loss of weight, diarrhea, and they took but after that, she was fine. They put her on amoxicillin and everything, and she was fine for 2 months. Then, and I'm trying to go real fast. Then in April, everything's been up and down. But the main thing, her blood count elevated, this and that. But the main thing now, she's in no pain. She lost weight. She's happy, everything, but she still has the diarrhea. And now they're thinking she might be having irritable bowel disease, and they are trying to rule out all these different things, Now they're going to put her on steroids. We picked up steroids today and see within a week if she's going to improve. But the main thing is she's losing weight and the diarrhea.
Okay, and I missed, what kind of dog is she?
German Shepherd, 13 years old. And she's been healthy all her life.
All righty. Well, I mean, and definitely that strategy, it can be a very sound one in a 13-year-old dog. And the causes of weight loss accompanied with vomiting and or diarrhea, we definitely go gearing towards the gut. And if we don't feel anything that's feeling like a lump or a bump or a mass internally, then sometimes we have to look at the things that are harder to prove just from outward means or even from tests such as blood work and x-rays.
Right.
So ultimately, to get an answer to some of these situations, we're looking at getting biopsies of the intestinal tract. And that, isn't really necessarily realistic in a 13-year-old dog. So, there might be some steps that we can do to try to figure out a little bit more about what's going on in the digestive tract. So for me, often with a dog that's losing weight, I may do things like do some vitamin B levels, cobalamin and folate can be helpful because even if we're not going to go for something like a biopsy, sometimes those elements need to be supplemented, and they can really benefit from vitamin B therapy along with antibiotics and probiotics to try to help keep things going. And there are definitely some doggies where when we're suspicious that they might have an inflammatory problem like inflammatory bowel disease, that steroids are certainly on the table. And sometimes we just kind of give it a whirl, see how they do. And if we see improvement, then that's a very realistic approach for a doggie in her age bracket, with some caveats, because anytime we use steroids, there's good and bad. So there are some conditions that can be worsened with that. And in an older pet, I do also worry about things like, the big C. Cancer certainly is a possibility, and it can be tough to roll that out completely by these tests that we do from the outside. Certainly, I think you have nothing to lose by trying that approach, and especially if she's continuing to lose weight, even though you had her on the antibiotics and she still lost weight despite that, right?
Right. She does gain a couple pounds in here and there, and I forgot to tell you that in the blood work, right now, they found that she is losing protein in her body, and her glands are producing too much cortisol.
Okay.
That's just now her lab work from this week.
Okay. Yeah, and the protein loss, you definitely, if we're having chronic diarrhea, we look for where we could lose it in the body, and you can lose protein in the GI tract. You can also lose it in the kidneys, and sometimes we don't have enough protein because we're anemic or we're just having problems with our overall metabolism. So if the diarrhea is the cause of that, I can understand why she might have a low protein level. And Cushing's disease isn't necessarily something that I first think of if we have a digestive problem and weight loss. So the problem is with Cushing's disease, it's a disease that causes high levels of cortisone in the body, but stress causes high levels of cortisone. So disease processes can cause us to have high cortisone levels. So it can be a little hard to really interpret that in the face of a sick pet. So, but
other than that, she's playful, she's happy, she's got appetite, except for now the diarrhea. No pain, no nothing, because they check for bumps and lumps in here. No pain, very playful. She's this and that, except for now the big thing is the diarrhea.
Well, and hopefully we'll see, with the steroid if that helps. But, those other things. And if you haven't already used things like probiotics, and some dogs, we will even entertain putting them on low-level antibiotics if we're suspicious that they have intestinal overgrowth in their intestinal tract. And that can happen very commonly, secondary to some intestinal diseases or sometimes all by itself. So it's not a case where we like to use antibiotics, indiscriminately, but for some of these pets, it really can help treat them and their quality of their life.
I like where you're going in with the vet. She also said the biopsy, we'll see if the steroids were very good. I appreciate so much you. My sister in L.A. listens to your program all the time. We just listen to it all the time.
Well, thank you so much for listening. Hope everything turns out well there.
Well, it's the season for egrets to nest. And in Fort Worth, Texas, they're having some problems with that because these huge birds are leaving huge droppings. And all of their lawns that were once green are now turning brown. But these neighbors in the neighborhoods where these birds nest have gotten together, and they've come up with a plan to get those birds the heck out of there. I don't know if I'd want to live in this neighborhood because what they're planning is going to be pretty loud. But I'll tell you about it coming up on Animal Radio News.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app. for iPhone and Android.
This portion of Animal Radio is underwritten by Fear-Free Happy Homes. Don't forget you can get your fix of Animal Radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Download it now. It's made possible by Fear-Free Happy Homes, helping your pets live their happiest, healthiest, fullest lives at home, at the vet, and everywhere in between. Visit them at fearfreehappyhomes.com. And thanks, Fear-Free, for underwriting Animal Radio.
Hi, everybody. This is Deborah Wilson from Mad TV, and you're listening to Animal Radio. And as my friends would say,
thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing. If you've written a book, they can help you through the process, cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If they decide to publish your book, your work ends, theirs begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art. Plus, get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and in bookstores across the country. They even help promote your book. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, or even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. And don't forget to ask about audiobooks. We do all of this for you. Call today for your free writer's guide packed with tips, tricks, and templates to help you finish what you started.
800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. That's 800-215-6815.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. I don't know about you, but my dog always barks at the mailman. There's something about the mailman that just drives my dogs crazy. In fact, they will not even deliver mail at my house. I had to get a P.O. box because when I used to have a big German Shepherd Border Collie mix, he would always go after him. But dogs seem to go postal in L.A. more than any other U.S. city. The U.S. Postal Service released its rankings of the best and worst cities for dog attacks on mail carriers. L.A. recorded 69 incidents last year. San Antonio and Seattle round out the top 3 worst cities. Wichita, Kansas, that is the safest city with just 20 attacks. So if you want to be a mailman, stay away from the dogs. Wichita, Kansas is where you need to go. Almost 6,000 postal workers were attacked by dogs. An old video posted online could cause some new problems for 2 Florida men, one of which is seen jumping on top of a manatee and her calf.
It's right here. Look, it's a huge one.
I'm gonna get. Hey,
there's 2 of them.
Should I do it? Let's do it. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Let's do it. You ready for this? You ready?
Get him, Taylor. Get one.
What an idiot. The video was first posted on Facebook about a year ago, but now the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is launching an investigation. Officers have already identified the men in the video and say they could face state and federal charges for harassing the endangered mammals. Residents in Fort Worth, Texas are gearing up to scare away egrets before they nest. Last year, the egrets invaded neighborhoods, leaving behind droppings that filled the air with flies and turned some lawns brown. Because the egrets are protected by the Federal Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918, those giant birds can't be disturbed as they nest. This year, residents, though, are taking some preventative action and arming themselves with air horns and bells to scare off the giant birds if they fly around looking for places to build nests. Bill Campbell, who's president of the Tanglewood Neighborhood Association, tells the Fort Worth Star-Telegram that people don't want the birds to get comfortable nesting in their neighborhoods. He added that residents will probably have to scare off the birds every year. In the future, some neighborhoods are looking into building areas where the egrets can nest in peace. Wildlife Protection Group wants to work on a freeway project in Petaluma, California, stopped because it's causing the deaths of swallows there that nest in the bridge. The Press Democrat says concerns around the construction at the Highway 101 bridge right over the Petaluma River. The wildlife advocates say federally protected cliff swallows build mud nests in that bridge, and Caltrans' efforts to keep those birds away is allegedly killing the birds instead. So they're asking a federal judge to stop the work and force Caltrans to do additional environmental studies before they resume construction. I'm Stacy Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
It's Animal Radio. Don't forget, Download the Animal Radio app for iPhone or Android. Ask your questions directly from the phone, as well as listen to past shows. The application has been updated. It's really cool. It's a free download. And we head across the country to Violet. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Who's that in the background?
That's Vegas. He came from Las Vegas, and now he's in here for daycare today.
Oh, okay.
So I have a daycare at Smooch's Playground.
So what's going on with your animal? I have Dr. Debbie right here.
Someone dropped off this little Chihuahua, and I've raised him now. And he's got a lot of little spots. Like, I took him to get fixed, and he says he has an allergy. Well, I mean, yeah, they fixed them, but they didn't say what kind of allergy, because then they would have to do a skin thing. So I started giving him some kind of Flex Dog, which is a 3 fatty acid and an immune system. I'm seeing a little bit difference, but I don't know if that's what I could do for, like, doing his, I do the tea tree, but that's not working. So maybe a different type of shampoo.
Okay, tell me a little bit more about this guy. How old is he?
He's only 5 months old.
5-month-old, little chihui-hui. And what do these areas look like on his body?
Little just spots of red.
Okay. And is there hair loss in the areas?
It's just pink. And then it's just, he's got hair on there. So, I mean, I don't know if there's a special shampoo should I do or...
Okay. Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is that allergies definitely can happen in young dogs. But the truth of the matter is that seasonal allergies, inhalant allergies, are not going to be present in a doggy this young. So things that are pollens, things that are blooming outside, it takes well over 1.5 years of exposure to those environmental allergens for a pet to develop an allergy. So we can almost kind of just ignore that whole possibility. But we can sometimes see food allergies in young dogs. Sometimes the youngest I've diagnosed it has been a 6-month-old puppy. But typically those pets will tend to be quite itchy. We have some pretty typical signs with that. In a Chihuahua puppy, oh golly, at 5 months old, I will tell you.
He's white. Yeah, I understand he's high maintenance.
Yeah. The first thing I honestly would have this boy evaluated for is to check him for mites. Demodectic mites, or what they call the red mange, is quite common.
When I took him in, and then they fixed them. So they said just to do the cortisone. But
well, and did it help?
It does help, yeah. But every time I take him over to my mom's yard, I think he's allergic to the grass. Because when he comes back, he's all red again.
Well, I'm just telling you, going with the odds in a young pup of his age, even if we don't see mites on the first sampling, sometimes it does take multiple samplings. So I would just want to make sure we exhaust that. And now, this is something your vet can't do just by looking. They actually have to take some skin samples. They have to do that skin scraping, as we call it. Yeah. So if that's been done, then I'll feel more comfortable about that. But, okay, so say that test is negative for your little guy. Yes, there are definitely going to be some things we're going to look at doing. And we might start with some of those colloidal oatmeal shampoos, which can be very soothing for the skin. And then I would address going into a hypoallergenic diet. I'm not really familiar with some of the brand that you mentioned.
Yeah.
But to get into
nothing.
Yeah, and grain isn't always the big problem. It's kind of a big fad in the human world with nutrition. But actually, some research studies actually have shown that some of the most common allergens in foods for dogs are things like beef, which is over 30% of the most common allergens in dogs. Dairy and wheat are followed after that. And actually, corn is pretty low on the list. It's lower down. So things when we talk about grains, yeah, it could be a grain problem, but in many cases, it could be a chicken, a beef, all those other ingredients.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So you would, I'd say, pick up that phone, talk to that vet, and say, what food would you recommend? In my office, if I'm treating a food allergy, I like to go to something in a young dog like a novel protein diet. Maybe it's going to be something that's just got 2 ingredients. It's going to have a carbohydrate and it's going to have a protein. My own dog is on a rabbit-based diet. Some dogs thrive really well on a fish-based diet. And the thing I'll tell you is with hypoallergenic diets, it's a little bit trickier than just looking on the label and saying, is does this food have that ingredient or not? Because for hypoallergenic diets, the ideal way to do this is to manage it with very limited ingredients and to make sure that we're using things that are new and novel to the pet's experiences. So, I personally, as a veterinarian, I like to have some recommendations that I would throw your way. So chat with that veterinarian and make sure that we didn't have mites, and then we can talk about a little bit more about these diets. And fatty acids are great. I like that you mentioned the diet with fatty acids, but I prefer to bring them in a supplement form. So bring it in a pill, bring it in a liquid, add that in so that we can control the dose and the amount, and we know that it's going to be beneficial for your little guy. Violet, I commend you. You've got your hands full with that whole crew of doggy daycare, and bless that little guy's heart, and I'm sure you're going to get him on the mend here soon. This is Dr. Debbie. If you have a question for the Dream Team, give us a call.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Alan Cable. There's big controversy regarding your pet sleeping with you. We're talking to a sleep doctor who said it's a bad idea and he got lots of hate mail. There's experts on everything. You see them every day on TV. They try to tell you what to eat, when to sleep, where to go, what to do, what to look at. It's ridiculous. The doctor made a good point. He's just trying to help people in this country sleep because tons of us are having trouble sleeping. And he said if your pet is interfering with your sleep, then you should try not sleeping with your pet. That's all he said. Here's the reason I wanted to continue the discussion on this. There are a lot of folks that let their dogs eat whatever they eat and sleep in their own beds because they feel guilty. People like this guy.
What can I get you? What's the problem? Why are you crying? Tell me why you're crying, honey.
I feel sorry for that poor dog.
Why?
Because you're supposed to be a calm, confident leader. You're supposed to earn your dog's trust and respect.
Why are you crying?
That dog doesn't know what you're saying.
Are you afraid of the camera?
He just knows he's getting attention. Now, this person you're hearing is one of my friends, and his dogs sleep with him. He doesn't sleep, but his dogs do. In fact, his dogs run the entire show, and up until just a couple of days ago when I talked to him about it, he didn't see that. He didn't realize that. Now, 20 years ago when I used to tell folks to put their dogs in crates, they thought it was the most horrible thing there was. Putting your dog in a cage. Now it's accepted, thank goodness. The one thing that prevents us all from being good dog parents and good people parents is guilt. It cripples you. If you feel guilty about not letting your dog sleep in bed with you because he always has and he's whining about it, well, you're clouded with emotion and you'll never be able to do what's best for both your dog and yourself. Your dog is perfectly fine sleeping on the floor. In a dog pack, the leader has his own spot. None of the other dogs sleep with him. They don't go near his spot unless they're given permission. So can your dog respect you when you give up your spot and let him have it? Probably not. And you could be opening up a can of worms for a host of other troubles. So remember, if it works for you, fine. But if you're doing it out of guilt, well, that's the worst reason.
Fido Friendly Magazine presents the 17th annual Cross Country Pet Adoption Tour. Get your licks on Route 66. Along with media sponsor Animal Radio and companion sponsor Zymox, the tour travels down America's favorite highway from LA to Chicago, stopping at shelters along the way to support adoption events and to raise money for the shelters. With the help of cat food sponsor Cat It, community sponsor Tito's Vodka for Dog People, campground sponsor KOA, grooming sponsor Hands On Gloves, and car wrap sponsor Signs to You. Fido Friendly Magazine brings their giant spinning wheel where attendees can donate money to spin and win Fido fabulous prizes. All proceeds benefiting the shelter of the day. In the first 16 years, the tour has helped to place over 20,000 pets into new forever homes. Log on to FidoFriendly.com to see where the tour stops near you and come out for a safe, fun way to support your local shelter. And who knows, you might just find your new forever friend.
This is
Animal Radio. I don't understand these fat pet people. I mean, it's not like the dog and the cat go to the supermarket and buy stuff.
Especially a fat dachshund. I mean, that's not an attractive looking fat dog.
No, and a basset hound, that would be an unattractive looking fat dog too. Bulldog.
Bulldogs I've seen big, but basset, I mean, they just drag their thing along the floor. You got to put a little salve on it or something.
Judy's always giving them treats.
Well, of course
it's easy around here, but it's easy in here. We get all sponsored stuff here. I mean, it's hard not to.
He's saying that while I'm on the phone. That's not true.
He tells me it's no laughing matter, and then he starts laughing. I mean, if you got a fat pet, it's because you're feeding your pet too much. It's pretty simple.
Okay, let's go to this phone call. Come on.
Hey, Tim.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Doing good.
Well, I understand you have dog issues.
Well, yeah, they're great little dogs. We have 2 Cairn Terriers. It's a new color. They're wheat-colored Cairn Terriers. 2 sisters out of the same litter. And when my wife takes them out to walk, they've just turned 4 years old, but when she takes them out to walk, and they've pretty much always done this, it's just like sled dogs. You know, they walk you, you don't walk them. And she don't want to put a choker chain on them. She's afraid it's going to hurt them. And we're trying to figure out, you know, other than, you know, if that's what we need to do, or if we, you know, if there's something else we can do.
Well, Tim, you're a nice guy. Your wife, you're wonderful people. You're the kind of people that I would love to live next door to, because I can just tell you're sweet people. And you know, sweetness does not equate with being a good dog parent. Sweetness is something you save for last. And so what you've got now is you got those retractable leashes on the dog, don't you, where, you know, you can let out the rope?
They're regular nylon, you know, loop. They're not retractable. It's just like a 5-foot or 6-foot leash.
All right, so how much time do you have? How much time do you and your wife have?
For the dogs?
Yeah, to work with your dog.
Well, we can work with them in the mornings or in the afternoon or in the evenings. You know, I work for myself and she does too. We have our own business, and so we
That's
can,
beautiful,
you know, we
buddy.
can pretty much, you know, do whatever we want to do. So.
Well, what technique do you want? Do you want the simple technique, because there is none? Or do you want the firstly, the choker chain will not hurt your dog. It's the way you use the choker chain that can hurt your dog. Basically, a choker chain is just something to give your dog a little friendly reminder that he's not acting the way you want. It's the way you use it. So you're not going to hurt your dog by putting a choker chain on your dog. So that's a really important thing. You've got to have some sort of a collar on your dog that you can use to give your dog a correction. The easiest technique I'm going to give you for working with your dog, and believe me, none of them work overnight. You've got to be patient, calm, and all right. You're going to have to work with one dog at a time, though. You don't want to work with them both, or your wife has to take one, you take the other one, okay? Right. And the preparation starts before you leave the house. So before you leave the house and you're getting ready to take your dog for a walk, there's certain things you do that get him immediately excited. Maybe you pick the leash up and he sees that and he gets really excited by it, right?
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what happens.
All right, so what you're going to do now is you're going to pick the leash up, but you're not going to take him out. And you're going to do that a lot. You're just going to pick the leash up and walk around the house with it, so he never knows when he's going out. That's the first thing you're going to do. The second thing you're going to do is when you leave the house, you wait till the dog is calm. You just sit there. You stand there with the dog at your side. You stand there. You don't move. As soon as he's calm, you make a move towards the door. If he gets excited, you stop. You're going to do a lot of starting and stopping. And once you get him outside, you start walking. As soon as he starts pulling, you just stop. You just stop walking and stand there. Now, it's important that you know you don't talk, Tim. You and your wife do not talk to the dog. Just stand there. As soon as he calms, you start walking again. As soon as he starts pulling, you stop again. And the whole time, the leash is glued to your body like you're a tree stump. You've got it glued to your side or to your chest. And you're training your dog to walk on your side, never in front of you. So if he starts walking in front of you and pulling, you just stop, stand there, and you don't move for as long as it takes for him to mellow out.
Okay.
Does any of that make sense to you, buddy? It's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
It's going to
we've
take
even tried those harnesses. It's supposed to stop them from pulling, you know, when they pull and all that, but I don't think those haven't worked. So,
Tim, nothing stops a dog from pulling but you. What people don't understand is, like, let's say you take your dog out, you train your dog for 15 minutes. Well, what are you doing the other 23 hours and 45 minutes a day? You're teaching your dog stuff without him even knowing it. Without you even knowing it, you're teaching your dog all kinds of things. And what you've got to do is you've got to be in charge. You've got to act like a leader. You've got to stop feeling sorry for your dog and worrying about him. And, you know, you've got to treat him like a dog, and you've got to be the leader that says, hey, I don't like this behavior. Cut it out. And the way you do that is with your body, not with your words. The way you do that is when your dog starts pulling on a leash, you just stop walking. You just stop.
Okay.
And you wait for him to stop pulling before. That's what you got to do, buddy.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
The other question was, when the doorbell rings, by no means are they vicious. They've never even offered or tried to bite anyone. They really won't even lick you. But when somebody rings the doorbell, they go crazy, barking.
Yeah, of course.
And then once the people get inside, they're all excited. They don't, jump on you or do nothing like that. It's just that doorbell is like a boxer, I guess. You ring the, when he's ready to box.
And why do you think your dogs go barking crazy?
I don't know.
All right, the correct answer.
Excites them. You know,
Tim, the correct answer is yes, it does excite them. But why do they go crazy, Tim? Because you let them go crazy. You see, you give them the space. They're just being territorial. They're protecting their territory,
sure.
and the doorbell keys them up, and it gets them excited. Another thing to understand is if you take them on long walks, it'll mellow them out. They probably won't go as crazy. They're just looking for ways to stimulate themselves too.
Yeah.
But you've got to teach them that the space in front of the door is yours, and you do that by practice with a buddy. You have a buddy outside. You tell him to ring the doorbell. As soon as he goes to ring the doorbell and the dog makes his move to go to the door, you stand in front and hurt him away with your body and teach him that's your space. And then you teach him to lay on his rug and be quiet, and then you do it over and over and over and over again with your body, with your actions, not with your words. When he starts doing what you want, you tell him good dog and give him a treat.
All right.
It takes a long time to do these things, though, Tim. A long time.
Well,
repetition. You and your wife have to do the exact same thing over and over and over and over again.
Being 4 years old, we can still teach them to do that, correct?
Absolutely. You can teach. Okay. There's no such thing as not being able to teach an old dog new tricks.
Thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing. If you've written a book, they can help you through the process, cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If they decide to publish your book, your work ends, theirs begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art. Plus, get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and in bookstores across the country. They even help promote your book. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, or even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. And don't forget to ask about audiobooks. We do all of this for you. Call today for your free writer's guide packed with tips, tricks, and templates to help you finish what you started.
800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. That's 800-215-6815.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Kabel, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
This hour, we're going to talk to a lady who's rescued a cat from McDonald's. Apparently, it was hanging out and eating food all day long, and it didn't meet the nutritional requirements of a cat. Also, we're going to... I guess Obi's out. We're not going to be talking to Obi.
No, we didn't get Obi this week.
Okay, but maybe next week. We're finding, I guess there's some legal custody battles going on. More details about that 77-pound dachshund on the way. Let's see. We're going to line 4 and line 5. Okay, hold on a second. Stacy, what are you doing?
I don't know. Snakes are not something that really freak me out. Some people are really freaked out by snakes. They just see one and they start screaming. Snake! There's this guy in Florida who got out of his car. There was a 128-pound snake. Now, this is not a worm. This is a snake. It's a python.
Wow.
He got out and wrestled with it, and it wrapped around his leg. I mean, he was just driving by and saw it. I'll tell you what happened coming up on Animal Radio News.
Wow, that's a big snake. Dr. Debbie, you deal with snakes down there at the clinic. I know you stay away from tarantulas.
Yeah, I let my associates deal with most of the snakes. And definitely a 128-pound snake, I certainly won't be seeing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. The guy's riding by in his car, and he sees the snake. Why does he have to get out and bother the snake? I mean, and then, of course, the story sounds like, oh, this guy's fighting for his life. The snake attacked him. You know, the snake's minding his own business, going about his merry snake way. And Rudolph gets out of his car and has to mess with him. And, of course, he's probably trying to defend himself and protect himself. And all of a sudden, the human is the victim.
Well, I think this is
in
Florida where they're having the problem with all the snakes and they have bounty on their heads.
I got problems with
these are
everything
dangerous. I mean, these will take your dog down, man. I mean, they'll take small children, wildlife. So they are an invasive species.
128 pounds, I think it already probably took a dog or two down or a small child.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jacob, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
Very well. Where are you calling from today?
Well, I'm truck driving here in Wyoming.
Ooh, lovely Wyoming. I feel for you, man. It's lots
windy
of
out here.
Wind and lots of flat, I imagine.
Yeah.
So what's going on with your dog? Or cat, or iguana. What is it?
Well, my wife and I, we have a 10-year-old smooth fox terrier. And, she's been a very active, athletic dog up until I'd say a month and a half ago, she has developed a honking type cough, and the toughest part right now is throughout the night she'll go through these spells.
Mm-hmm.
During the day, my wife is wondering, why is she sleeping? Well, she's not getting sleep at night.
Right.
And from my research, my wife, and then we have gone to the vet. There's a high suspicion that it's collapsing trachea.
Is she having any other symptoms at all, as far as any weight loss, any other problems? Is she eating okay?
She's still eating. She's seems to be a little more picky now. Surprising, because she would engulf her food so fast that she would let out a burp. Any drunk would.
She likes her food and doesn't mind the unladylike behaviors there. So she's coughing, and so do you feel that in general that she's, besides this cough at night, that she seems to have some slowing down, not eating well? Do you perceive that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Her favorite thing in the world is like a handball, a blue ball, and we had to put it away because as soon as she gets excited, she'll start hacking.
Okay. All right. So tell me what has been done for her so far, and is there anything you're pursuing right now?
Well, here's the tough part. My wife did, take the dog to the vet probably about a month ago, and so I went back to the vet to kind of beg them to prescribe a medication for her cough. What they're looking at is, of course, was a blood panel for about $150.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went back, they said, well, we definitely would have to do x-rays to confirm. So that's another visit plus the x-rays. That's $190. And from what I gathered, there is no cure. There's only kind of a...
Okay, I'm going to back you up here, Jacob, because we don't have a diagnosis yet. And that's part of my concern, is prescribing something for what we don't really know what condition is going on. And the reason I'm kind of backpedaling here is because if we're going to presume that a dog has something like genetic or something anatomical, say like a collapsing trachea, that kind of problem tends to be present throughout their lifetime. And it doesn't, unless we're in extreme situations, it doesn't really cause them a decrease in their quality of life. So for me, if I am presented with a pet that is coughing and especially can't make it through the night, and maybe we're off on food a little bit, and this kind of behavior hasn't been present throughout their lifetime, it really warrants looking into. So I would concur with your veterinarian that I think those tests are very sound things to do to get us a better feel what we're up against. Because throw in a cough suppressant at her if she's having some kind of heart problems developing could be a very detrimental or even fatal thing. So we want to make sure we're treating the right thing and giving you the right pills. So definitely, these type of tests, there are fees with them, and those aren't terribly off. I'd say in the area that I practice, you're still, maybe we're probably like $20 less on some of those things than what you had mentioned, but still, those are pretty valid fees there. So, if you need to pick and go ahead.
If they were to, let's say, run a blood panel, and then they found the specifics, it's almost like a human being. They're looking at specifics on the chemical, on let's say a heart problem. Would they just, pretty much rule out the trachea and say, well, unfortunately her ticker is right, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it depends on how we want to approach it and how much suspicion the veterinarian has. Now, there's times when I'm listening to a dog's heart and I'll say, there's something really wacky going on right here, and it can kind of help me to encourage a pet owner that I have a strong index of a suspicion that there's something we're going to find. So for me, sometimes I'll pick an x-ray first over blood work. Sometimes I think it's prudent to do both of those at the same time. And I probably can't say specifically in your pet situation what the case may be, but I would definitely think that, what you're describing sounds like we do need to get some kind of diagnostics to decide that and to see, are we going to be going down the respiratory pathway, or are we looking at more of a heart-based problem? And because the medicines are different, and, even if you're not looking at doing a lot of really crazy tests, those are two basic things that I would say are going to help your veterinarian and determine what is the best course of action to go. Does that make sense?
There's a little, definitely. There's unfortunately, there's a little hesitancy based on kind of her treatment in the past of stupid allergies, and one year she took a shot that really worked excellent throughout the summer, and then the following year it was like the same supposed shot lasted maybe a few days. And then there was a horrific incident. My brother had a purebred lab that I guess she wasn't feeling well, but they took her to the vet. It was a different vet, and they said, everything looks great. And the next day, the dog dropped dead.
Oh, goodness. Well, Jacob, sometimes it's a matter of also just kind of, if you're not feeling that relationship with the veterinarian, definitely. I admire and I definitely think it's every pet owner's right to seek a second opinion. So you might just be time to maybe pick up the phone and check around. And if you're not feeling it with your regular vet, see if someone else has a different opinion. But I can tell you my opinion is that I think that what they're recommending certainly sounds good. And it sounds like something, we need to at least embrace some testing in some format. So I hope your baby does okay with that. And there's definitely things we can try. If we do have, say, a collapsing trachea or some other chronic respiratory problem, there's cough suppressants. Sometimes there's bronchodilators that help to open the airways. And, even sometimes antibiotics are indicated. So there's a lot of things we might be able to do. I'd say we just need to take that first step and get your baby back to the vet.
Hey, thanks for your call, Jacob. To my left, Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. To my right, dog trainer Alan Kabel, dog father Joey Villani, and animal communicator Joy Turner.
Dr. Debbie, you're like the best vet ever.
Oh, thank you.
My
tail is wagging right now.
I got a theory. I got a theory that in life, 80% of people are quacks at what they do. 20% are great at it, and out of the 20%, 10% are good people and care. And you're one of those 10%. And you're right. People need to seek that out, because whenever money comes into something, there's a temptation, not to care. You've really got to go with your gut. You've got to make sure the person really cares about animals as well as trying to make a good living.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, it's Alan Kabel, and it's time for another dog tip. Here's a sound you never want to hear. Fact is, a lot of people hear that every single day, and it's scary. Could be your own dog is taking over your life. When it gets that far, when your dog is growling or nipping at you, maybe for even sitting on your own couch or getting into your own bed, getting close to his food, trying to shoo him away from a window or door he's barking at, when it gets that far, it's time for you to bring in professional help. Don't try to fix this problem on your own, especially when you have a big, strong, powerful dog. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you let a dog take control of your life, you're probably going to have problems down the line, and they could be big ones. You may think you're showing your dog affection by letting him sit in your spot on the couch or taking over your bed. You may make excuses when he growls at you for getting too close to his food or trying to take one of his toys. You rationalize it away when he nips at you. He did it because I gave him that toy. It's his, and I tried to take it away. I've disturbed him while he's eating. Naturally, he's upset. He tried to bite me when I got in my own bed because I woke him up. This is by far the biggest reason why people give up dogs. The dog gets aggressive, you get scared, he gets more aggressive. And an aggressive dog is a scary dog. Most people can't handle it. They worry about their kids and their friends coming over. And the more they worry, the worse the problem gets. They appear very weak in the dog's eyes. And the dog has no trust for them. So they start locking the dog away from people. They can't bring him out anywhere. And the dog either gets given up or spends most of his time locked up, away from other dogs and away from people. He gets labeled as being vicious. When you think about it, it's pretty sad and it's avoidable. And with the right person in your corner, this problem can also be corrected. So if your dog is starting to become aggressive or he's already full-blown out of control, you owe it to the dog to get him help, because you probably contributed a great deal to the problem. Once you come to terms with that and make the decision to learn, change, and grow, with a great professional at your side, your dog can change too. Get more tips at animalradio.com.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At U.S. Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With U.S. Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
U.S. Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With U.S. Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose U.S. Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. U.S. Med. Better service. Better care. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
Holy education! Hi, this is Burt Ward, Robin from the TV series Batman. You've got to keep listening to Animal Radio. Wowie zowie. They've got the best information. It's so entertaining. To the Batmobile, citizens!
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hey, let's go to Nick. Hey, Nick, how are you doing?
How you doing, sir? Thanks for taking my call.
Where are you calling from today?
Calling from Jersey.
Jersey. You're a Jersey boy.
Jersey, I love Jersey.
What's going on?
All right, I got a miniature schnauzer. He's 3 years old. We just rescued him from a shelter. We're having issues taking him for a walk. Every time we go to take him for a walk, he starts getting, I guess you say, overly excited. Starts screeching and almost like he's yelling. We can't take him probably about a quarter mile away from the house, not even. And then all the dogs start barking in the neighborhood and just starts drawing attention. And as soon as we turn around and start going home, he stops. So we're just curious on how to fix it and what we can do to help him.
Well, I'm glad you called, Nick. It's great to talk to you, buddy. And I can tell you this, I would guess if I were with you, observing you, you're probably very tense and anxious when you take your dog for a walk until you start turning around to go home. And then you probably are totally mellowed out and you're calmer yourself. Is that true?
I guess you can say that, but, I've also, I understand that whole, I got to be calm for him to be calm. So I have tried that whole technique. It just doesn't seem to work.
It's not a technique, buddy. It's a way of life. And again, I was talking to another lady. People try things. They say, oh, it's not working, and they give up. But trying something and being something are two different things. It's not that you're trying to be calm, and it's not that you're acting calm. It's that you are calm 24/7 inside your mind, your heart, your soul, your body. And understand that your dog is very insecure. And to give a dog like that confidence, you have to be confident, and you have to do it forever. And it takes time. It's not the kind of thing where you're going to walk that dog, and that dog is going to be cured after one time. You got to take baby steps. It's just like teaching a baby to ride a kid to ride a bike. You just don't shove a kid on a bike and push him out into the middle of the street, right? You hold out, you put the training wheels on, you hold the seat, you give your child pep talks. It's a process. And to give a dog like that confidence is a process. So what you might try doing is, instead of taking your dog for a long walk, you start with little tiny walks. You walk your dog in your backyard until he's really comfortable. And then you take your dog for a walk out in front of the house until he's really comfortable and calm and secure and confident. You don't talk to him. You just walk him. You lead him. And then you go further and further from the house over time. And then when you notice your dog starting to get tense, like let's say you start and everything's going well and you're about 100 yards from the house and your dog starts to get agitated, you turn around and go home. Because you notice your dog's agitated. You take baby steps, and you tell your dog, good boy, when he's calm. And Nick, this is going to take time, buddy. This is going to take time.
I understand.
Okay? So it's baby steps. It's you believing inside your heart, soul, and mind that you're calm and not acting calm, and checking yourself constantly. Is my arm relaxed? Am I feeling calm? Am I standing erect? Am I looking forward? Am I acting like a leader for my dog? Does my dog feel like I'll protect him? Am I there for him? And it's not talking. The less talking, the better. Okay? When you're walking your dog, do not talk to him. Just walk.
As far as the leash goes, long leash or short leash, right?
Well, that's interesting. You want your dog to be right along your side. If he's in front of you, you are not the leader. He is the leader. So if your dog is leading you, you stop walking immediately. You just stand there, and you reel him back in. You want him on your left side, right at your knee, right on your side, never in front. That's what teaches a dog you're in charge. You're the leader.
I got you.
When you leave your house, you leave the house first. The dog is never in front. When you come home, you enter the house first. Your dog is never in front. When your dog comes into a room, it's because you've invited him into the room. Start thinking about all the things you do every day that tell your dog either I'm a leader or I'm a follower. Dogs, like toys and food and all that stuff, you're in charge of everything. It's all you. You own it all. And a lot of people think that's mean, but that's dog world. That's dog communication. That's how dogs act and think. They don't want to be in charge. And if a dog, has control of toys or food or anything like that, at that moment, you are not his leader. He is your leader.
Gotcha.
Okay, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Have a good day.
I will have a good day.
Dr. Debbie, I have done extensive research, studying and doing all kinds of different, what do you call them, seminars and,
video games.
I've been in seclusion. Basically with the monks trying to figure this thing out. And I've got two things for you. One of them I thought would be very interesting for you. The other one I think will get you extremely stoked. First of all, did you guys know that the outdoor temperature can be estimated within several degrees by timing the chirps of a cricket? Did you know that, Dr. Debbie?
I did not know that. I like that. That is
very,
darn
very
cool. So cool.
Even I knew that.
You count the number of chirps in a 15-second period, then you add 37, and it works with Fahrenheit, but only when it's warm. That only works when it's warm. Okay, now here's my other one, Dr. Debbie. This is going to get you so excited. Dr. Debbie, did you know that there is a certain living thing that remains pregnant for its whole life?
A certain living thing that remains pregnant for its whole... This is one of those brain teaser ones.
This is absolutely the truth.
The woman that has 29 kids.
Nope. Some female cockroaches mate once, and they're pregnant for the rest of their lives.
Wow.
That's cool. Okay, that trumps the cricket. That trumps the
really
cricket.
Does.
Yeah.
See that, Dr. Debbie, getting all excited. Now, I'm going to have a great week. Now.
Thank you for the entertainment. I appreciate it, Alan. And yes, maybe bugs get me excited, and I don't really know it.
Join us next time for Will This Get Dr. Debbie Excited?
If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Ross on Animal Radio. Please remember to spay and neuter your pets.
I never really understood the value of having a good credit score until I started to make a few purchases recently. Then it hit me like a ton of bricks. Because my credit score was in the 600s. I was borderline getting denied on my new apartment. And guess what? My new car payment is about 30% more. Having bad credit can even affect your credit card rates. Having a good credit score is important to your financial future, and you can save a lot of money. Call the Credit Pros right now. In a free phone call, we can tell you exactly how to improve your credit score. Plus, learn about our 60-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not happy after 60 days, we'll give you 2 months free. Make this free call right now for a free consultation and free credit review. 800-292-6156. 800-292-6156. 800-292-6156. That's 800-292-6156.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacey Cohen for Animal Radio. A man in Miami is responsible for capturing and killing the largest Burmese python ever recorded in Florida. According to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, this record-breaking serpent was a 128-pound female. It measured 18 feet 8 inches in length. Now, that shattered the previous record of 17 feet 7 inches. Apparently, Miami resident Jason Leon was driving in a rural area of Miami-Dade County when he and a passenger spotted this giant reptile in the roadside brush. Well, he grabbed the snake by the head and he began pulling it out of the brush. First of all, what would ever possess somebody to get out of the car and do this? That's the real question here. That's when this python began wrapping itself around his leg. After he got some help from his buddies, Leon killed the snake with a knife. Kristen Summers of the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission says the commission is grateful to Leon for safely removing the large snake and then reporting it to authorities. He's lucky to have his leg. A rare 19th century torpedo is back in the Navy's hands thanks to the works of a few bottlenose dolphins. The LA Times reports Navy-owned dolphins discovered a Howe torpedo while being trained to track down underwater objects off the California coast. Only one of the antique underwater weapons was known to exist prior to the discovery. The dolphins are trained to use their natural sonar to discover objects that not even billion-dollar military technology can detect. The torpedo is bound for the Washington Naval Yard, where it'll be cleaned and then put on display. A designer in Seattle's come up with an easy way to transform an average house cat into king of the jungle, the lion hat. Yumiko Landers told Metro.uk that the idea for the feline headpiece came from her sewing group. While making something to fit the cats and dogs theme that week, Landers came up with the so-called hat that allows the cat to sport a lion's mane. The product even comes in multiple colors, including golden brown, black, gray, ivory, and husky. Landers sells the hats online through Etsy. I don't know if you've ever seen that website. It's great. It's got a lot of craft stuff. That's ETSY. And says she never would have expected it to be getting so many orders from all over the world. The American Heart Association has declared that pets, especially dogs, guess what? They're good for a person's heart. Further proof that dogs are among the best friends a person can have. Dr. Glenn N. Levine, director of Baylor University's Cardiac Care Unit, was quoted in a press release from the AHA saying pet ownership, particularly dog ownership, is probably associated with a decreased risk of heart disease. He said that owning a dog may help reduce cardiovascular risk because dogs bug their owners into taking them for walks on a regular basis. And dog owners were, according to the AHA study, 54% more likely than non-dog owners to get a suggested amount of exercise. So good news, no doubt. Get out there with your dog. I'm Stacey Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
Animal Radio. An underlying theme to today's show is the obese factor. We're talking about a lot of animals that have, they're a little bit overweight. And here in the studio, and I'm sure Dr. Debbie will agree, that, 3 of the 4 animals,
3 out of 5
probably weigh just a little too much. So we're guilty of this too. But these are animals that are way overweight. In fact, we were supposed to talk to the lady who has Obi, who is the Dachshund who weighed 77 pounds.
Jeez.
And apparently she's in a custody battle with that dog now that it's a famous dog. And you are unable to get a hold of her?
Yeah, we're
It may
still
be
trying
because of the lawsuit? We don't know?
We don't know. Still trying to reach her.
So we'll find out more in just a couple of minutes. I also mentioned a couple of weeks ago about this cat that was hanging out at McDonald's. And, I know, just horrible. Eating all the food there, living on the diet of McDonald's for over a year until someone came along and realized this cat just doesn't look good. The McDonald's is not doing this cat any good. And that person, I believe, is Bridget Bull. Hey, Bridget, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing very well, Hal.
Where are you
talking to you today?
Yeah, where are you?
I'm on a remote sheep and beef farm in New Zealand. I'm talking to you from my home today. But I work for the Waikato SPCA, and it was my colleague Jessica Watson who rescued Frankie from his life of terrible fast food habits.
So what? Frankie just hung out at a McDonald's and people would feed Frankie?
Frankie was a stray.
Okay.
He was abandoned when his owners left their apartment block, and he basically took up residence in the at the drive-through, and he learned that people would toss him scraps, and yes, he lived at McDonald's.
What was his favorite McDonald's item? Do you know?
Well, I hear he had 2. He liked the burger patties, the meat inside. People would order one for themselves, an extra one for Frankie, and the little chicken nuggets. I don't know. Do you have them in America?
Oh yes.
They're kind of bite-sized. You
Sure.
can imagine you could toss onto a cat, snaffle it up.
What,
I think those were his 2 favorites. Yeah.
Was he overweight?
When we brought him in?
Yes. Was he overweight?
No, he was not overweight when we brought him in.
Wow.
So
my colleagues, he was so. I work for the Waikato SPCA. We're a charitable organisation in New Zealand that an animal welfare organisation, and we rescue, amongst other things, we rescue and rehome stray animals. And we've been keeping an eye on Frankie for a year or so, but he was healthy. He was a healthy animal, and we don't have capacity to take in healthy strays off the street.
Sure.
So it was not until we noticed that his condition was deteriorating that we thought, well, actually, we have to act. So he was not overweight, no, but his fur became matted. His eyelids, his third eyelids, were up, and his face had become very swollen.
But this is actually the same thing that's happened to Alan Kabel here. And
Yes,
you do eat a
very
lot of Big
sad.
Macs, I noticed.
Oh, constant. Actually, I have them pumped in directly, intravenously pumped in. Yeah.
And this is the proof that you don't necessarily have to look at a pet and see a fat pet to know that they're not eating right. So nutritional deficiencies come in all sorts of ways. So how sad for Frankie. How is he doing?
He's doing very well. I understand he's doing extremely well. We did find him a new home. It was quite a process.
I bet.
Because there was a lot of demand for this cat, because he's got quite a story behind him. He's doing well. He's eating well.
Do they have to feed him McDonald's?
No, I understand they're no longer feeding him McDonald's.
Oh, that's good. But he's taken to regular cat food now.
Yes, he has. You will have seen in the news that it took a while when Jessica Watson took him home. She fostered this who was then a very unhealthy animal, took him home and produced some Hill Science Diet, which is what we use to feed the animals at the SPCA. He thought, what is this? Can I have fries with that? No? Oh. He wasn't interested. But it took him a while, and eventually, he got to like the regular cat food, and he's doing much better for it now.
How old would you estimate him to be?
I don't know, actually. He's an adult cat.
Now he's addicted to Jerry Springer, though.
Pardon?
Never mind. I'm just being stupid.
I gotta ask, what is the takeaway lesson from this?
Okay, I would say the takeaway lesson for us as an animal welfare organisation is that we have a problem with stray cats in this country, in our city, in New Zealand, because people are not desexing their animals, so they have too many cats, they can't afford to feed them, they can't afford to look after them, and they throw them out on the streets. So we end up, the SPCA, we end up as a sort of ambulance at the bottom of the cliff, taking in sick, stray, malnourished animals for whatever reason, when people should be taking responsibility for the welfare of their animals and getting them desexed. Yeah.
We talked to, some nutcase,
I don't remember his name.
4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, maybe a little over a month ago.
Yeah, a while back.
One of your politicians, I believe, who's trying to...
Did you?
Huh?
Did you?
Yeah, the guy who wants to get rid of all the cats.
Yeah.
Oh, you spoke to Gareth Morgan. He's a leading businessman and entrepreneur and philanthropist. Yeah.
Big cat problem there in New Zealand, I guess.
We do have a big problem with stray and feral cats in New Zealand, and that's why the work that the SPCA is doing, that my colleagues are doing, to reduce cat numbers, basically by we educate the public on the importance of having their animals desexed. When I say reduce cat numbers, I'm a cat lover. Cats make wonderful pets, and people love their cats.
We love them too.
Yes, we do.
Exactly. The problem is with strays. Yes, so we do have a big stray cat problem, and we're working with people to educate on the importance of desexing. Yeah.
You're doing good work, and I appreciate you spending time with us. It's got to be early there. What time is it?
It is 7 minutes past 8 on a Sunday morning.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much for spending time with us and telling us this.
That's my pleasure. That's my absolute pleasure. And thanks for your time today.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
You hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, Car Shield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call Car Shield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with Car Shield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-987-0618. 800-987-0618. That's 800-987-0618.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
We head to Marge. Hey, Marge, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Where are you calling from today?
Well, right now I'm in Oklahoma.
You a truck driver?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a English Mastiff. She's 8 months old, and I had her in training for a while to be able to walk without dragging me across the street and to come on a halt command. But she does real good at halt command at home. Like if she's in the backyard and I yell halt, she comes right to me. But when I stop on the road, like I always try to stop where there's an open field where I can let her run. She doesn't come on the halt command when I tell her. And I use treats like when she starts coming to me. Finally, I tell her come, and then I give her a treat. But it seems like she just ignores me when I'm yelling halt for her to come to me.
Well, she's 8 months old, and what you said is real interesting that you use treats because that's a good technique. But just so you know, until your dog is able to come to you whenever you call, you probably shouldn't let her off leash in strange places. That's probably something you shouldn't do. And the way to train your dog to come to you, it's a good technique with treats. When she's really into treats, you have a leash on her, and you just sort of stand there and let the leash out and tell her to come. And when she comes, you give her a treat. And you do it over and over and over again, and then you stop giving her treats, but you give her affection. One thing you don't want to do, a lot of people do that I see, they make a terrible mistake. They get really frustrated when their dog doesn't come. And then when their dog finally does come, they punish the dog. So if you're doing that, you're sending the dog a message, good for you, girl, because you don't want to do that. Now, the reason why your dog doesn't come when you're in a strange place and you let her go in a field is because there's way more interesting things than you in that field that she's distracted by. And if there's more fun away from you than there is with you, she's going to go to where the fun is, especially at 8 months old. She's going to want to explore, and she's going to want to go kooky, and she is not going to pay any attention to you until she learns to respect you and look at you as a leader. And that takes time and patience and consistency, and I would not let her off a leash if I were you unless it's a fenced place, because she is not going to pay attention to you for a while. You've got to work with her extensively. And as I told one caller, remember, you may train your dog 15, 20 minutes a day, but your dog is watching you another 23 hours and 45 minutes a day, and whatever you're doing, you're teaching your dog, whether you're a leader or you're not. So you've got to act like a leader and check yourself before you wreck yourself constantly when you're with a dog. You got to think about what you're doing and how you're acting. Act like a leader, and your dog will treat you like a leader. But remember, you've got to work with your dog every day on this exercise until she learns to come to you every single time you call, because if not, what happens is one day your dog gets hit by a car.
Well, that's why I always go in a big open field where we're not by anything. Okay, I just felt bad because she doesn't get a whole lot of exercise, and when we
there
stop,
you go. There you go. That's the number one cardinal rule of teaching a dog that you're a leader is you can't feel bad. Okay? If you feel bad, you've instantly lost. When you feel bad inside, you are not a leader. You're not treating your dog like a leader. You're not being a leader. What you're doing is you're having a human emotion of guilt. And when you feel guilty, you cannot be an effective leader of a dog. You can't do it.
Okay, I listened to you guys. I just found you guys a couple weeks ago, so I've been listening to it. I just thought maybe I'm just expecting too much too soon.
Well, you are, girlfriend. She's only 8 months old. You can get one of those 50-foot retractable leashes, too, and you can let her go and pay no attention to you, and let her do her thing. Right. And then you call her, you say, come, and if she doesn't pay attention to you, give a little jolt. Give a little tug of the leash. Come.
Okay.
Give a little jolt. Okay. Only do it twice, though. If she doesn't listen, retract the leash, bring it in, stop talking, stand there, and when she starts paying attention to you, you look at her and go, good dog. Then do it over and over and over and over and over again. Never stop until she learns to stop what she's doing. I have a dog. He could be chasing a bunny, and I'll go, "Hey, stop!" And he stops in his tracks and comes to me. That takes months and months and months of work.
Okay, all right. That's probably what I needed to hear. I do have one question. On these English Mastiffs, are they good dogs for, are they stubborn, or are they, I used to have a Shar-Pei, and I couldn't do anything with that Shar-Pei. But these English Mastiffs, are they good dogs?
The only dogs that, it's hard to train them to do stuff. It's not that they're stubborn. It's just because of the way they are. Their breed, are chow dogs and also huskies and malamutes. They're kind of aloof. They're kind of hard to train. They don't act like your normal dog. They kind of act like cats. So they're a little bit different, and you have to treat them differently. They're powerful dogs, and they're bred to pull sleds. And chow dogs, I guess, at one time guarded palaces, and so they're very independent. But I don't really have much experience with an English Mastiff, although a lot of people are getting those dogs now. I would just assume, Dr. Debbie probably know more than me, that, pretty much they're like any other dog, and you just got to be their leader.
Okay, well, I appreciate you guys talking to me, and I'm not giving up on her, that's for sure.
Don't give up on her, but stop feeling guilty. That's a human emotion. Dogs don't feel guilt. You shouldn't either.
Okay, I won't. I'll get a longer leash. I have a walking leash, and then I have the ones that she can retract out, but I don't think it's 50 feet, so I'll get one of those.
Good luck to you, Marge.
Thanks for listening to Animal Radio, Marge. Tell a friend about it if you will. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank all the people that made this fat show really, really fat. And hopefully next week we'll talk to Obi's owner. I want to find out more about this dachshund. Don't forget you can get Dr. Debbie's books, Yorkshire Terrier, Shih Tzus, Pugs, and Mini Schnauzers, How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend, over at Amazon as an electronic book. We have links at animalradio.com. And check out Joey Villani's line of waterless shampoos. And be sure to download the Animal Radio app. I mean, come on. You don't have it yet? It's free for your iPhone and Android. We'll see you next week right here for more Animal Radio on this fine station.
Bye-bye. Bye.
This is Animal Radio Network.